Hi everyone. I feel like it's been the longest time since I've actually sat down and filmed anything. I'm literally in my PJs right now because this is really the only time I get to film. It's like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30, yes 10:30, and I thought I would finally film my review on these eyeshadows. These are the Sydney Gracecoat eyeshadows, formerly known as Feather River Body, which is what I have on my palette. This is one of their old palettes, but I like it because it stores all of my eyeshadows from Sydney Gracecoat, which is a coincidence, but I'm really happy that it turned out that way because I hate having palettes that, you know, I'm missing a few gaps or, you know, I like to complete my palette. I did a Project 10 wears using these eyeshadows, although some of them are new, and I'm finally giving my review. So hopefully you're still interested in what I have to say because it's seriously been months. So if you haven't heard of Sydney Gracecoat, where have you been? Because I feel like they're getting more well known and more recognition, which I think is awesome. Basically, Sydney Gracecoat, they were formerly known as Feather River Body. Feather River Body. I believe it was called that because body was short for boutique. Luckily, they changed their name because Sydney Gracecoat is a lot more digestible. Sydney and Grace, I believe, are her daughter and niece, which I think is cool. That's a nice touch. Like many other indie brands, they did start out on Etsy in 2015 and they've since expanded. They've got their own website and it's awesome to see an indie brand grow so much. All their stuff is made in the USA as well. And I feel like with this brand, there is a lot of like care and love that have gone into everything. I can't remember exactly who had mentioned this brand, but I had heard along the grapevine that they made amazing mattes. So I decided to go on Etsy, look them up and place an order. And I'm really glad I did. And what I particularly liked about these eyeshadows were that, first of all, that they were pressed. And then second of all, that they had quite a large variety of shades. When I started getting to indie brands, most of the time I came across loose eyeshadows, and from my experience, my loose eyeshadows just sit on my display and look pretty, and I hardly ever use them just because I feel like if they're loose, they'll get no use. They really won't. They're just, it's too finicky. These, on the other hand, are nice and easy. They make less mess. They're just more accessible. So I was really excited to try these out. So in the past, Etsy was the only way that an international customer could access their products, but now they do have their own website. And I have seen that they do offer international shipping. Shipping does depend on weight. So from memory, it was pretty expensive, probably around the $20 US mark. So if you do want to place an order and you are an international customer, it's pretty much only worth it if you're ordering, you know, at least 10 eyeshadows rather than just the one or two. I did contact them about rates because I wasn't sure exactly how much it was. Heather and her team were super quick to respond, and I really appreciate that because, you know, if you're quick to respond, then I'm quick to make my order. The items did take 2 to 3 weeks to arrive, which, you know, is pretty average. You know, it's pretty standard when it comes to anything overseas coming to Australia. So it wasn't anything spectacular, but it wasn't anything terrible. So I have ordered my fair share of makeup off Etsy and other indie brands from their own websites. And I have to say, out of all the indie brands I have shopped in, I feel like Sydney Gracecoat does a really great job at packaging. First of all, everything comes really well packaged. I mean, this is not how it comes, but there was heaps of bubble wrap. And then on top of that, the eyeshadows sit in here and they just look so professional. It's got its own sleeve. It's got the ingredients at the back. I also really like the fact that all of the eyeshadows have a sticker on the back with the printed label. It's easy to read. You can see the finish, you can see the grams. And on top of that, they just all look so nicely and uniformly pressed, and they are filled to the brim, which I love because I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Also, can I say, I do like the fact that they're magnetic as well. As silly as it sounds, some brands don't put their eyeshadows in magnetic pans. So I just feel like Heather's operation is extremely professional. So when it comes to packaging, 5 stars. Great packaging, can't fault it. I have never received a broken eyeshadow from them. Anyway, moving on from the packaging and all that to the real important stuff, which is the application and quality. I do really love these eyeshadows, in particular the mattes. I find really excellent. They're really pigmented, but not to the point where it's really difficult to blend. They are blendable. They pretty much build up to the intensity that you see in the pan here. Some of them are a bit patchy. In particular, you know, I did find this blue Itsabo to be a bit patchy. Some of the darker purples, but they are workable. You'll see my Project 10 wears. I have used some of these shades, and for the most part, they work beautifully. I guess the only thing to note is that they are quite powdery. When you do apply your brush to the pan, you'll notice that there is quite a bit of powder, and you can see kind of the kick up there. So that is something to note if you don't like a super powdery eyeshadow. These are powdery. A lot of the eyeshadows I use are powdery, and it doesn't really detract me. I think, you know, just tap the excess off or tap it on a tissue paper and you're good to go. Or if you're using darker shades, you know, it's worth probably doing your eyeshadow first before your base. I think the shade range is really good for mattes, because sometimes you see these kind of beautiful, gorgeous, you know, teals and mints as a shimmer, but not so much as a matte. The shimmers are nice as well. They're not as intense as I would have liked. I feel like they're more of like a satin type metallic rather than foiled glittery goodness. But again, if you're not really into the intense shimmer, this might be good for you. I have noticed that some of them are more intense than others. I would say this rose gold shade is already pretty pigmented, and it doesn't take that much to build up. But some of these other shades, you really do need to just go in with your brush again and again. So knowing what I know now, I prefer to stick to their mattes just because, you know, I don't always want to wet my brush or use a glitter glue or pack it on with my finger, which, you know, if you want to get the intensity of what it looks like in the pan, that's what you'll have to do. But yeah, not everyone wants that. I've used actually this shade as well as this one on the eyelid, and I had to build it up and build it up to actually get it to this intensity, which is okay. I don't mind doing that, but they're not my favorite shimmer formula. I would say that if you don't like kind of more satiny type metallics and you prefer more foiled, these are not really for you. I did want to mention a few of my favorite shades. This one is Haystack. It is a gorgeous kind of mustardy brown. It's a beautiful shade for a transition color on my skin tone. I've used it quite a lot in my Project 10 wears. I also really do like Ivy League, which is this really beautiful, you know, kind of cucky green. Another one that I like and use quite a bit, Winter Wonder, which is this kind of cool toned greigey purple. Believe is also a great color. It's kind of like a strawberry pink. Really like this color as well. And then another one which I use all the time, it's a taupe. This is Havoc. It's a really nice taupe. All my favorites are mattes because that's what I like about this brand is their mattes. And what I use when I go for this palette mostly. I do sometimes use a shimmer, but I just don't go for them as much as the mattes. By the way, I am gonna be swatching all these by kind of color family and then by finish. So timestamp will be left down below if you want to see that. So in terms of cost, they are obviously more economical if you buy them in a bundle, which is what I did with the majority of these. I bought some of these during Black Friday, and also they often have discount codes and coupon codes. So just watch out for those because then you can, you know, add some additional savings. So yeah, you can often get it discounted, but the standard price is $6 per 1.8 grams of eyeshadow, which I think is pretty decent. I feel like that's kind of like the standard price, if not slightly cheaper than a lot of indie brands of what they're offering. It's not the cheapest. It's not like Coastal Scent cheap, but it's not Urban Decay expensive, you know, or MAC expensive, which is like $20 per pan of eyeshadow. In terms of ingredients, again, it is listed on the back of here as well as on the website. I do like that on the website they do have the ingredients and then next to it an explanation of what it is. Now, a lot of people might not necessarily care about ingredients. For me, I am not particularly sensitive to any ingredients, so I don't really mind that much, but some people might just like to know what it is and, you know, if they have sensitivities. I have noticed that a lot of their eyeshadows do contain, you know, silk powder, silk mica, carnauba wax, Caranuba wax, am I pronouncing that wrong? Which obviously aren't vegan. So if you are vegan, then these aren't vegan, but they are cruelty free. So overall, I really love this brand. I love what they're offering. I think it's amazing to see that they've come out with so many new eyeshadows. They did a Icy Betch dupe, which I think was cool, and they did it really well. For an indie brand, they're just really impressive. They're a smooth operator. I do recommend them. I think that if you want to go for an indie brand, this is one of the best ones because their eyeshadows are really well pressed. They've got a great selection. They often do bundles and sales, so you can bring the price down if you want to, you know, get more savings to kind of buy a bundle. And great customer service. Heather and her team do a good job at responding to emails promptly. The one thing, again, that I could see being a con for a lot of people is the shipping rates. There's no flat international shipping. It is by weight and different per country, so it can be quite a lot. So it's probably worth splitting it with a friend or making a sizable order to make it worth your while. One thing I would also love to see this brand do is bring out some more finishes, more foiled finishes, duochromes. I'd love to see that from this brand. I'd love to see more palettes because they have done kind of like quints in the past. I am honestly so excited to see what they have in future. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did more palettes in future, and I would love to support them. Anyway, enough rambling from me. If you want to see swatches, I've done finger and brush swatches, then just keep watching. totally forgot to do a demo, so you're gonna get to see this look if you want to see these eyeshadows in action. Just because I don't know why, I just forgot to do a demo, but hope you find this useful. And yeah, if you want to see this look, it's coming. Before I do anything, I'm going to put some lip gloss on because I'm sick and my lips are super dry. I'm not looking the best today. This is a Pat McGrath lip gloss. Mum bought it when she went traveling because she knows I have a Pat McGrath obsession. Anyway, we are going to do look number 10 from my project wears using the Sydney Gracecoat eyeshadows just to do a bit of a demo. It's a pretty simple look, but I like it because it's punchy, but I don't think it's too, like, it's not too bold. So I am going to start off with priming my eyelids. I'm going to use this Concrete Minerals Electric Eye Primer. I haven't used this in ages because I've been focusing on my Project Pan eye primer, but I really like this one. I apologize that I look so run down and terrible and I might sound like I'm sick because I am sick. So I did use these 3 shades. How am I going to hold this up? These 3 shades here. I'm going to start off with this olive shade. This is Fallen. It's really gorgeous. I kind of kept it to the inner corner of my eyelid. This is a shimmer. The shimmers are not a fold kind of shimmer. They're more of a satin type. This one performs quite nicely. And it goes on without much fallout, and it is pretty much as you see in the pan. This one is quite nice. So I pretty much just kept it there, and I'm not going to take it up too high. On the center I used Woodland, which is a beautiful matte. If I was to dye my hair green, it'd be something like this color. But I'm pretty much gonna keep my hair blue until I run out of blue hair dye, because I'm kind of wanting to go back to a normal-ish color. But I have so much blue hair dye. Lastly, I'm going to take Bountiful. This is the matte eggplant shade on the outer corner and then smoke it out the tiniest bit. This is also a beautiful shade. So beautiful. At the edges, I'm just gonna blend it out a little bit, just with a clean brush, just so that the edges are kind of diffused a bit. For the lower lash line, I followed the exact same pattern as I did on the upper, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use my favorite lower lash line brush. Really love this olive shade. I think it's so gorgeous. I'm just going to connect it up as well. So that's pretty much it. It's super simple, nothing overly complex. I generally, what I do is I do my base and then I go back and see if I need to fix anything up, and I like it. So hope you like it too. Let me just do my base and I'll show you the final look with everything put together. So this is the finished look. I am gonna add a little bit more lip gloss because why not? I feel like I look a lot less like a train wreck now. Power of makeup is amazing, isn't it? Very simple look, just 3 colors, not much blending required. It's mostly just blending the outer corner and keeping everything pretty low on the lid, not taking it up too close to the brow. I like it. So that was everything, my thoughts, my review, swatches. Hope you found this useful, and thank you so much for watching and being here. I really appreciate every one of you for sticking around, because I know I'm not the most consistent person on here. But you know, your comments and everything, that's what keeps me going. And I do want to do a small giveaway. This is just kind of like an impromptu thing, and I do have a few doubles, and I did buy another one of this shade that was recently released because I thought it was beautiful. This is Tempest. This is Peach Crush, which is a matte. This is Oasis, which is a matte. It's a beautiful color. And this is JB, which is a metallic blue. If you want to win all of these, just comment down below saying that you want to, and in a week's time I will comment back announcing a winner. It's going to be randomly picked. And yeah, that's it. If you want to see more of my face, please subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.